Hello, welcome to your second stimulus check and stimulus package update. Hope you are staying safe and doing well today. So, what exactly is going on with the stimulus negotiations between House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin? The clock is ticking right now, and both sides are yet to come to an agreement. And we've seen so much back and forth on this stimulus. In fact, people are tired of these stimulus negotiations and the stimulus talks with no significant outcome. If you are tired of the stimulus back and forth or the waste of time from Congress and not passing anything, give this video a thumbs up. And if you support a second stimulus check to struggling Americans, also give this video a thumbs up. So, what exactly are we to expect right now with the way things are going between the White House and the Democrats on these stimulus negotiations? We're going to talk about all of that in today's update. But before we dive in, if this is your first time stopping by this channel, welcome. Consider subscribing now to join this amazing community to stay informed on the latest stimulus updates, economic updates, and financial tips. So, a lot of people are blasting Congress right now, and one of the key people who just blasted Congress today, Monday, is the GOP governor from New Hampshire. So, the Republican governor, Chris Sununu from New Hampshire, just had some strong words for members of Congress today, and he said, fire them all. So, according to CNBC reports, we are seeing that Governor Chris Sununu of New Hampshire just said to fire all of Congress. I mean, all 535 members of Congress. This is a very strong word, and we're going to quickly go into what he said here before we dive into what exactly House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said. So, if you hang on to the end of this video, you're going to discover what happened today between House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and the White House and what Pelosi said about today's outcome. So, what exactly did Governor Chris Sununu say? So, Governor Chris Sununu said on CNBC Squawk Box today that no one in the Senate or Congress can say that they've shown leadership on the COVID crisis. And then he goes on to say, what have they done since March? Like literally nothing. Then he said, fire them all. I really mean that sincerely. So this is coming from a GOP governor, and if he feels this way about Congress, I mean, let me know in the comment section below. How do you feel about the delay from Congress right now? How do you feel about people left hanging? How do you feel about 14 million people facing eviction with no sign of help coming to them anytime soon? And how do you feel about the millions of unemployed Americans who have had their unemployment benefit cut short and are basically financially stranded with so many obligations? This is what we're facing right now going into the next election, and it's really, really sad to see that people are struggling as we get into the colder months and Congress is not acting with a great sense of urgency. I want to know what you think in the comment section below. But he goes on to say, in his own words, put it this way: will the country be better or worse if you replace all 535 today? And he was saying this referring to the members, the 435 seats in the House and the 100 Senate seats. Then he also says, I think the odds say it would probably be a little better because you get the political nonsense out of the picture. All of the things that have just clogged the system up so badly. So he's boldly saying that people have to vote the members of the House out. And this is how he feels about it. And if he feels about it this way, we know for sure how many Americans feel about what's happening right now. So let's dive into what House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said. So House Speaker Nancy, well, before we dive into what House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said, let's quickly talk about what her spokesman, so her spokesperson, the Deputy Chief of Staff for House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Drew Hamill, sent a tweet today. And in the tweet, he said, the Speaker and Secretary Mnuchin spoke today at 2 p.m. by phone for 52 minutes. Remember, they've been speaking on the phone for the past few days. They speak for like 48 minutes, 53 minutes, an hour, and yet no significant outcome. So let's see what happens. So he goes on to say, as the nation faces record spikes in new cases, we continue to eagerly await the administration's acceptance of our health language, which includes a national strategic plan on testing and tracing. We are hopeful their response will be positive as we also await the outcomes of talks between committee chairs. It is clear that our progress depends on Leader McConnell agreeing to bipartisan comprehensive legislation to crush the virus. honor our heroes, our essential workers, and put money in the pockets of the American people. The Speaker remains optimistic that an agreement can be reached before the election. So this is a major update from Drew Hamill, and he's actually saying that this will depend on Leader McConnell. But we need both sides to come together and reach an agreement. And by both sides, I mean the White House and the Democrats to reach an agreement before that makes it to the Senate floor. Once they get to an agreement, we can now put the burden on Mitch McConnell and hopefully he brings it to the Senate floor. So right now, that's what Drew Hamill is saying. They did have a talk today, and it seems like there's really nothing substantial. But let's dive into what House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said in her letter today. So House Speaker Nancy Pelosi did say something today in her press release. And in this press release, she did start out by saying today is not a good day when it comes to the health and well-being of the American people. We begin this week on a note of grave disappointment over the president's reaffirmation that his purpose in installing his Supreme Court appointee is to overturn the Affordable Act. We have heard the nominee say in the Senate proceedings that she could not say whether Medicare is constitutional. Remember, there's so many things taking the attention of Congress away from the stimulus bill right now. So the stimulus negotiations are going on, and we still have the Supreme Court Justice nominee deal going on the side too. So this right now is drawing both sides apart instead of bringing them together to provide some help to the American people. So she goes on to say at the same time yesterday, the administration crossed another line in its arrogance in fighting the virus when the President's Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, said, "We are not going to control the pandemic," and again falsely claimed that the virus is just like the flu. That attitude clearly explains why the White House has not embraced the science-based path to crush the virus, which is contained in the HEROES Act. So again, talking about what Mark Meadows said instead of trying to tell us when we need to see an agreement. Yeah, so let's go on to see what else she had to say on here. So Pelosi goes on to say that this weekend our nation passed a devastating milestone as over 83,000 virus cases were recorded on both Friday and Saturday, the highest daily tolls since the pandemic began. The statistics are staggering. More than 8.6 million total infections, nearly 250,000 Americans tragically dead, and an estimated 8 million people falling into poverty. 17 million children food insecure, more than 23 million workers on unemployment, and nearly 1 million women leaving the workforce in September alone. So this is just some of the things that the issues that are going on right now that she's highlighting to show the gravity of what we're facing and in this very period. Then she goes on to say that the imperative to save lives and livelihoods and the life of our American democracy could not be greater or more urgent. So yes, that is something that's important, but people want to know, when are we going to see the stimulus bill pass? When are we going to see a stimulus agreement? Then she now gets to the bone of contention, which is the testing and tracing. And on that note, she says, unless we have a national plan for testing, tracing, treatment, and mask wearing, social distancing, and other science-based steps to crush the virus and combat the disparities facing communities of color, we cannot safely reopen our schools and economy. In all of our legislation, we have stressed the importance of testing, but the administration has never followed through. The Republicans continue to surrender to the virus, particularly amid the recent wave of cases, is official malfeasance. So again, she's talking about how both sides have not agreed on the language or how the funding for testing and tracing will be spent. So I want to know your thoughts about this. They've been talking about the testing and tracing funds for some time now, and it did seem like they were reaching some kind of consensus on the testing and tracing, but it still appears that they are still a far ways apart. They're still very apart from reaching an agreement on the testing and tracing. So she closes this by saying, we must come to an agreement as soon as possible, but we cannot accept the administration's refusal to crush the virus, honor our heroes, or put money in the pockets of the American people. The Democratic message to the American people is, help is on the way. It will be safer, bigger, better and retroactive.
Again, let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section below. While we wait for Congress to finalize the next stimulus package, you may have to pick up a side hustle or side gig to get some cash or make some extra money from home. Be sure to check out the video on the left to discover the one-of-a-kind website that pays you hundreds to thousands of dollars to just read out loud. This is a free, simple, and exclusive side hustle, and in this video, you'll discover the step-by-step process to get started today. And if you want the best-kept secret to increase your credit score fast, check out the video on the right. Don't forget to help others find this video quicker by liking this video and sharing it. And also, be sure to subscribe now as we track the latest progress on the next stimulus package. See you in the next update. Be safe and thank you for watching.